It's your girl, Barbie J, and I'm here to review Season 5, Episode 43 of The Haves and the Have-Nots. So let's jump right in. Oh my God. This episode was so touching. It was so touching. Oh my Lord, I was in here crying. But let's start from the beginning. It started with Wyatt and the shotgun. He found that shotgun in the basement and he loaded it with the bullets, and then he took it and he hid it in the dining room area, and then he goes upstairs and you see the Criers and the Harringtons together, and you know they can't even stand each other, you know, well, at least the wives can, and then the husbands, they always, you know, what's his name, Jim always think he David's boss anyway. But anyway, so Veronica and Catherine are always nitpicking at each other. They're like junior high school acting like, and here Veronica trying to stop drinking and Catherine starting to drink, and she over there drunk and stuff and drinking a lot, and they fighting and bickering, and you know, David keeps defending her, and all of a sudden Veronica's like, wait a minute, hold up, why are you defending me so much? Because he said something about she has a brilliant brain and all this stuff. Let her think. And she said, you knew this was happening. You using me. You don't love me. You using me. Oh, David. And Catherine's laughing. Ha, 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 ha. The paranoia is getting in. And oh, I don't know when Catherine started drinking so much. But anyway, so Veronica leaves and David chases after her and stuff. Jim telling Catherine, shut up. Do she realize how serious this is? We going to go to jail. And Veronica told them, if y'all didn't get your son in order, get him straight. I told you from the beginning. I told y'all, you know, she did all of that. You know how she is. So she gets home and David follows her, and then he want to sit on the couch. She said, I'm not going to sit on the couch. And she said, I don't want to stand here because that's the rug where my blood is. He said, what blood? She said, the blood that came from my face when you hit me, and you hit me to the floor and stuff. And she was like, oh, she wouldn't let him live it down. So she decided to get back at him and said, I got to tell you two things. And then she tells him that she's the one who paid that girl to mess around with him and everything. And I was like, wait a minute, she lying, because Candace, right, y'all, Candace did that. Candace paid her to try to get David for all his money, because David was the one who sent Oscar to get the money from her. So everybody's all pissed and everything, you know. And so when he said that Veronica said that she was the one who did that, David was pissed. He had steam coming out of all his pores. All of a sudden, he said he had to leave. And he gets out to his car out front, and he called her a biatch. I could not believe he used that word. David went in. I'm a killer, he said. And I knew something was up. I knew he was using her for some reason. I said he want everybody to think he loved her because he was going to have her killed. Because ain't no way in the world the day before he threatened to kill her, and the next day he want to make it up and he saw. It didn't make no sense to me, and it shouldn't make no sense to you. Anyway, so we go on with that. Then it switches over to Candace and the president-to-elect Charles, and he's talking to her because, you know, they woke up that morning holding each other and stuff like that, and they were in Landon's room. They took over his room, and who knows where Landon slept in the hallway, I don't know. Anyway, they all go their separate rooms and change, and then he tells her that she should, you know, try to talk to her mother to make things right, and she was like, I don't know about that, you know. But he was like, it would be a start, it would help. And so then it switched over to Mitch, and Mitch is like trying to talk to his uncle to save Benny, because Benny done messed up and stuff, you know, taking that money from the mob. He don't listen to nobody. He think he's so tough. He like the weakest link. He the weakest link. Y'all know he is. He the weakest link. So anyway, Benny, what happened? So his uncle's like, nah, I want my 20% interest. I want my $20,000. He gonna have to give it to me. Okay. So they move on to who's the next person they talk about. Catherine, she's still sleeping around with the guys in the hotel. She trying to sleep with this one and sleep with that one. You know how she getting with all this drinking, having her threesomes. I don't know what's going on with that woman. And then what else happened? So Wyatt goes back and he calls Jeffrey to tell him he gonna kill his parents and stuff. And Jeffrey's like, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear that. And then But I'm like, where's Jeffrey? Jeffrey in the parking garage of Justin's apartment. He actually went by himself with no safety, didn't give nobody the address or nothing. So Jeffrey goes to the parking garage. Oh my, is in the parking garage. He says, hangs up from Wyatt and tell Wyatt stop being silly, blah, blah, blah. Hangs up, and Justin's right there. Boo! And he's like, what are you doing here? How you know I was here? And he's like, I just figured you were here and stuff. That man is crazy. That Justin is crazy. He is stalking Jeffrey, and Jeffrey don't get it in his head. He's supposed to be some kind of psychologist, a therapist, right? But he don't get it in his head. What is wrong with Jeffrey? Oh, Lord. So Jeffrey goes upstairs into the man's house, and what do he see? He see pictures of him, a wall, an ode to Jeffrey. It's like a memorial or something. It has to be 24 pictures up there of Jeffrey, big ones in frames, little ones in the side, and Jeffrey didn't pose for none of them. Jeffrey's like, you been taking pictures of me? I didn't even notice. How do you have pictures of me? Oh, it's crazy. That's a stalker if you ever know a stalker. And Jeffrey's like, you need to talk to somebody. I need you to talk to somebody. He is just like terrible. And I don't know about what y'all think about his acting, but I ain't crazy about it. So he ended up staying there and stuff and said he would stay for dinner. Even though he kept saying he was going to leave, he never left. He stayed. And then we go back to Candace and not Candace, Hannah and Benny are sitting at the table eating dinner with Derek, and then the doorbell ring and everybody say, I'll get it, and Benny look at Derek like, no the hell you won't get out my doorbell, you know. You know, and it's so funny because okay, then when she come there, it's Candace, and I'm sitting there going, when Candace was talking to the Charles, you know, I don't understand why she wouldn't think they would kind of get together, because them two ladies in the episode before, they whooped the president's behind. Not the president, I'm sorry, they whooped Jim Crowe's behind. They jumped him, and I know Hannah was like on her knees praying that night, asking God for forgiveness, because they whooped her and she cursed. She was swearing and everything. So they whooped Jim Crowe's behind together. They teamed up because they love Benny, you know. So Benny's that one to hold them together. So anyway, she comes in and Hannah ain't trying to hear it. She don't believe nothing the girl got to say. And Benny's like, Ma, wait. It seemed like something wrong with her. She looked like something wrong. She said, I know this game, this trick. I ain't falling for it, da-da-da-da. She just want that money. And that's when Candace said, I don't want the money. They was like, what? She don't want the money. Oh, that's when they knew she was sick or something. Something had to be wrong with her at that point. Anyway, Candace told this touching story of her childhood and how she was in a play and how her mother wouldn't how they didn't let her be the lead part because her skin was too dark, and how her mother told her how she was a beautiful person and she had the prettiest skin, and how her mother uplifted her and gave her this little red ring, and Candace still had that ring. As nasty as she been to her mother and how she treated her over the years, she still held on to that ring. It was so touching. My eyes started tearing up. Oh, I know your eyes had to be tearing up. And Candace said, you know, you still lifted me up even after you said you was raped by that man. You said you was raped, and you remember the lion on his chest, and you still, even though I was a rape baby, you still always lifted me up. And I said, well, why Candace, didn't y'all wonder why Candace mentioning the lion on the chest? It was just something that didn't make sense. I was like, why they talk about that? She could have just said rape. She didn't have to talk about that. So I said, I have a feeling that's going to come back. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Don't y'all think something's with that? Why would they have her mention that unless it's going to appear? You know, I think Candace going to run into somebody maybe that had that line on the chest. I would think of something else too, you know, but anyway. So they up there, she crying and everything. And then she said she told Benny he need to sign over that money and give it back to the Criers. And maybe ask Catherine Crier, since she's friends with the mother, if she could take 20 the interest and paid off those mobsters that he owed that money from, you know, that he owes the interest to. And, you know, Hannah was rolling her eyes, but Hannah was, you know, she got teary-eyed too, because the girl was telling these stories from childhood and stuff. And Benny was getting teary-eyed too. Everybody in there crying. Meanwhile, Derek's still in the kitchen, but they don't show him or nothing. And I'm like, they doing all this talking. I bet you he listening in on their business. You know, people, they ain't trying to hear, but you can hear everything in that house. Anyway, so after she did talk, after Candace was talking, she lifted up the box and gave her mama her son's ashes, which is her mama's grandson's ashes, and asked her to hold on to it. And oh my God, the tears was flowing. Oh Lord Jesus, I was like, oh, this is too much for me. and stuff. And then after they finished talking, Candace got, the mother got up, Hannah got up and was about to leave. And she said, Ma, can I have a hug? And then oh, wait, I missed the part. She said, she told her mother, I held on to this even after I left, even after I had lost you, I held on to this ring. And her mother got on her knees and said, baby, you ain't never lost me. You ain't never lost me. Girl, where's my tissue? She said, you ain't never lost me. Never, ever, ever lost your mama. Girl, I love you. And she said, I love you, Ma. And she said, I love you, daughter. And then they was hugging. And she asked her mother for a hug. And the mother hugged her. And then she left. And then he was like, oh, you all right? And Candace was like, I love you, Brittany. And that was it. And I was like, oh, my God, this was so touching. So as soon as she went out the door, Hannah looked up the guy. And she was like, he heard my prayer. He heard my prayer. He heard my prayer, even though I couldn't pray for no more. He heard my prayer all these years. And Benny, he held his mother, and she wailed, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Oh, I tell you, I was on the floor crying. I was on the floor crying. I could not believe it. This was so touching and emotional. I have never experienced an episode of have-nots this emotional. Oh, Lord Jesus. And now, so that was it for that play, you know. And I mean, that play, Lord Jesus, for the end of that episode. But we still got to find out, because coming up, we don't know what happened with Justin and Jeffrey. So many left things unanswered. Justin and Jeffrey, was going to happen with him up there, because Madison is swearing something bad's going to happen. So I think something bad's going to happen. And Candace is supposed to be go with the president-elect. We're going to see what's going to happen with Candace and the president-elect. And when they go to the White House, there's something with that. We got to see if Wyatt going to kill his parents. We got to see what's going to happen with Veronica and David, because David said he gonna kill her, he don't care. And then Catherine, with her drinking and messing with them guys at the hotel, who they working with Candace with something, far as I knew, you know. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. Put your comments down there. Let me know what's going on. Okay, hit me up if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Subscribe. If you liked it, give me the thumbs up. Everything, y'all know the drill. This your girl Bobby J signing out. Peace.